Hello everyone, it's me ShortNature here, back with a brand new video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about Destiny 2's 11-minute gameplay of the opening story mission. Of course, when they have like big DLCs, if you guys remember from Forsaken, they had like the opening story mission. They kind of showcased to you guys, and of course, they cut the cutscenes out. So that is something that's really good, because I don't want to see no cutscenes. I don't want to see the gameplay, but I was intrigued by it. It's called a mystery disturbance. That is the story mission. That's what it's called. And you have to reclaim the moon from the hive. So basically, you're going throughout the moon with your buddies, and you're trying to take down the hive. I don't know what's the power level for this story mission. They kind of didn't really showcase it. It basically is like a demo. So if you want to put it in that sense. They kind of showcase some of the weapons, and then everything else is pretty like exploratory. Like, it's pretty basic. Like, it's your basic story mission. There's nothing exciting about the story mission except just tanks. There's tanks in the story mission, which is pretty cool. Tanks were very exciting in Destiny 2 when it first came. Tanks was the main thing that a lot of people was looking forward to. I kind of see how heavy ammo is dropping. Heavy ammo is dropping pretty quick, and there's like heavy ammo crates throughout the story missions. I kind of noticed that is something that's a little bit more different than most times that we play Destiny 2 story mission. There's never heavy ammo crates. Heavy ammo crates are going to be a little bit different this time around. Heavy ammo drops are still going to drop regardless, but there's heavy ammo crates in the area. So that is something that we should be looking forward to. This person, which I'm watching IGM right now, I'm not going to show the gameplay because that is IGM's gameplay. But basically, I'm just going to like go through it and watch it as we talked and everything like that. It's basically, that looked like the multi-tool scout rifle that he's using. Of course, he's using a shotgun. Now, I don't know if these weapons are going to be quite powerful, or they're just like basic, weapons that they have. I don't know if they're going to make a buff, but they are going to make some very standable buff this time around for a lot of exotic gear, and of course legendary weapons. They're gonna get a major buff. There's some weapons like pinnacle weapons from the Vanguard and from Gambit that just needs a little slightly buff at this time around, and I think auto rifles is the main thing, and scout rifles has been the weakest weapons in Destiny 2 so far. Like, they have not been any good. Like, pulse rifles has taken over scout rifles at this point, and hand cannons and shotguns. Those are only 3 weapons. Well, of course, snipers, but those are the only main weapons that people have been using. Scout rifles and auto rifle has been utterly trash and garbage since Destiny 2's release. Like, they haven't given you too much power at this point. So basically, right now they're kind of like going through, it's called secure a foothold for the Vanguard, and you have to like do some key things at this part. There's some org, and of course there's the big eyeball at this point, and they're a little bit more challenging than usual, but of course you and your teammates can take down the enemy pretty quickly. And of course, Whisper the Worm, Outbreak Prime, all those weapons that you're going to have in your inventory. These weapons that they have now, of course, they're not going to help them with this story mission, but of course they got to play what they got to play with at this point. So there's like hive things you have to drain. There's 6 of them that you have to drain, and then kind of open up the gate. So you have to open up Scarlet's, it's called Scarlet's Keeper or something like that. That's the next portion where you have to like see what's going on. And of course, Ikora came through, and she was telling us that this whole situation is all Eris's fault. She's the reason why that the hive is acting all crazy at this point, because she opened up something that she ain't supposed not to open up. She opened up a can of worms, if you want to put it in that sense. So Ikora was a little disturbed, and she told you that it was Eris. And then of course your ghost is saying that Eris hasn't been seen since the Red War, of course, since Destiny 2. If you have not played Destiny 2, and if you're joining into Destiny 2, it's going to be free to play this time around. So we had the Red War, and Eris went on her separate ways, basically. She's back, and she did something that she ain't supposed to be doing at this point. So like I said, throughout the portion of the gameplay that I see, there's like heavy ammo crates, a little bit more different than usual. The enemies, of course, are a little bit more different this time around. They have like a little reddish feel to it. And then, it's a pretty decent battle. It's not like a short, like you can just go through there and end the mission there. It's basically it's a little lengthy if you want to put it in that sense. There's 6 things that you have to do, and of course this team is trying their best to kind of get this stronghold kind of get together. And of course there's gonna be the hive swords that's gonna help you in this situation. So once you kind of like got through this whole drain of the hive situation, let me just skip through parts of this video. Of course there is going to be, it's called Scarlet Keeper's Entrance. So we have to secure that. And there's going to be another big enemy, which is called Eye of the Swarm. Now, if you guys kind of notice, enemies are going to be a little bit more tougher this time around compared to other days of story missions that we played. The enemies are going to be a little bit more tougher, and of course the reward drops are going to be a little bit more better. That is what Destiny is going for this time around in Destiny 2. It's basically having in-game content more worthy than it was back then. Like when you did story missions, you just like, okay, that's the story mission. They want the in-game content to be more worthy this time around, meaning that there's going to be tougher enemies and tougher activities if you want the best reward and get your power level to exceed that power level. Now, the power level at this point, the cap power level we got so far is 960. But when you have the artifact can boost your power level a little bit more further. Now, if you guys do remember, the nightfalls are going to be a little bit more tougher and more challenging. We're going to have more activities that are going to be more challenging, meaning there's going to be a lot of jumping puzzle situation going on. So basically that goes for the dungeons. The dungeons is going to be a little bit more tougher than anything that we played against. Now we play activities like the menagerie, and the menagerie kind of gives you that, you know, that feel of a dungeon. But dungeons are going to be a little bit more different compared to the menagerie because of course there's jumping puzzles and other activities and other things you have to figure out to get through that boss fight. The boss fights are going to be a little bit more tougher than usual. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you look at the Nightfall activity, which is the master one, is 980. And Cactus HD's video that I watched earlier, he said he came across an enemy that was 980. So the artifacts are going to play a key role into the situation, and activities are going to play a huge impact to that situation too, because if you want to get past 960 and you're going against enemies that are 980, you want to boost your power level a little bit more further and a little bit more challenging. So that is the only difference about that situation of these in-game content. Like, you want the in-game content to be more worthy and more challenging compared to other days that they had. Of course, when they went through, there's the Eye of the Swarm again. And of course, the tanks will help you out to take down this enemy. And then once you take down the enemy, the Scarlet Keeper entrance is open. And that's the end of the 11-minute gameplay because they don't want to do any spoilers to the campaign story. So they want to keep the cutscenes out. It's 11-minute gameplay, pretty much short and sweet. And of course, there's other videos out there like the content creators that went to Bungie Studios this past weekend to play Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. So make sure you check those guys out because they give you some really great portions and really great explaining how the artifacts, how the armor 2.0 and mods are going to work for your experience. Judging by some of the articles that I read and the ones that who did went to Bungie Studios like IGN, GameSpot, and all those went to Bungie Studios, kind of tell you that artifacts, armor 2.0, and the mods are going to have a huge impact into your in-game experience. And that has been talked about throughout this whole time and throughout this whole month of Destiny 2 Shadowkeeps, all throughout the vlogs and everything, and of course going to PAX West and the Xbox Live event that they had earlier this month. They really kind of explained the in-game content. The in-game content is your main source of boosting up your power level and making your game experience a little bit much better. Because the reason why I say that is because if you look at the in-game experience now, it's like, yes, it's their weapons and all that stuff, but everybody's in-game content is always boosting up your power level. If you look at other activities or other games in general, their main objective is making sure that person have like the powerful gear, like the powerful power level, like they're the highest in their power level. So that is what Destiny and Bungie is looking for this time around with Shadowkeep, and hopefully that the in-game content experience will make the community happy. There is some few people in the community that are just, you know, will have the negative side, and that is the Premier Pass tier reward system. Some people are like, why is Bungie doing this? This is not fair. The tier system is a little bit more, well, the Premier one's a little bit more better than the top portion of the tier system. And we're going to go in more details, kind of explaining how the reward system and tier system works in a later video this weekend. So basically, a lot of them has been mentioning about that situation, how the tier system is going to work, because a lot of them felt like the bottom portion of the tier system is a little bit more better than the top tier system. But at least you have an opportunity and a chance to get most of the rewards that were in the Premier Pass at a different rank level. Now, if you are buying the Premier Pass day one of this, you will get some of the day one content of those reward systems. So that's the only difference about that. The hand cannon is at rank 1 if you bought the Premier Pass, but if you are just doing it for free content, you will get it at rank 35 if I'm not mistaken. So that's how that system is going to work. So for me personally, I'm really excited for Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. This week article has not been released yet, but judging by some of the stuff on Twitter, it's going to be a really big article coming out pretty soon. So that is something that's going to be looking forward to in Destiny 2. Judging by some of them are saying on Twitter, people are actually asking them what is the preview, what is going to be looking forward to in this week's article. And a lot of them said it's a big one. The reason why it's a big one, there's a lot to talk about in this article. The reason why we say that is because PC migration, Battle.net is not our home place anymore. It's going to be Steam. So if you have not did your PC migration, you got 4 days to do it. The reason why I say you got 4 days to do it, because Monday is maintenance day for Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. They're going to be on a 24-hour maintenance because they got to do all this PC migration, transfer all this character info into Steam, and make sure everything goes correctly and everything is, sweet and smooth on day one of Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, which is going to be Tuesday on October 1st. So there's going to be have like a big maintenance about that. And of course, talking about some key things that a lot of people have still got questions about. Do they still have to buy Shadowkeep on Steam, or do they have to do this, or different situations? So hopefully that they kind of explain that in this week article, because people are still having, problems about that situation. Do they have to buy Destiny 2 Shadowkeep on both platforms and consoles? So that is something that they're going to be looking forward to in the next couple of days or so. If you found the video entertaining, you found the video a little informing, just let me know in the comment section down below. I know this video was long. I don't want to make the video long, but of course, there's so much info and details to kind of explain from the 11-minute gameplay and what's going to be going on for this past week. So I had to put this in this video. I will have a later video tonight, or maybe hopefully tomorrow when I come home from work, kind of detailing everything that was mentioned in this week's article. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I will catch you guys in my next post.